Okay, so you're interested in how Gen Z approaches first dates, huh? Well, buckle up because we've got a deep dive into the Gen Z Heartstrings podcast. It's like a window into the minds of young daters today.
Exactly. It's more than just dating advice, though, right? This podcast gives us a peek into how Gen Z views relationships as a whole.
For sure. Let's jump right in. One thing that really stood out was their take on ditching the whole job interview vibe on a first date.
Right. Who can relax when they feel like they're being judged on every word? Gen Z Heartstrings is all about taking the pressure off.
Totally. It's just one date, after all. It shouldn't feel like a life or death situation.
Exactly. That's their mantra, actually. It's just one date. Such a good reminder. It's about connecting with someone, not impressing them.
So true. And you know what else they're not into?
Hmm.
The dreaded small talk. Like asking about the weather or traffic. Who cares?
Such a snooze fest. I think Gen Z is craving real conversations, you know?
Absolutely. Gen Z Heartstrings is all about diving into those passions, even if they're a little, out there.
Like, if you're obsessed with a niche hobby or a particular podcast, go for it. Talk about it.
Exactly. It's those unique details that make you memorable.
It's way more interesting than talking about the weather, that's for sure.
Okay, so get this. Gen Z Heartstrings is all about activity dates,
Mm.
like ditch the typical dinner and a movie routine.
Oh, yeah. They're all about pottery classes, bookstores, walks in the park, trivia nights, anything but just sitting across a table from each other.
I love that. It takes the pressure off constantly coming up with conversation topics.
For sure. You're both focused on the activity, and you're creating a shared experience, which is so much more memorable.
And think about the stories you'll have later. It's way more interesting than, like, yeah, food was good.
Exactly. Okay, but get this. Gen Z Heartstrings actually recommends skipping the pre-date drinks.
Wait, really?
Yeah.
That seems kind of counterintuitive, doesn't
Yep.
it?
Right. But it makes total sense when you think about it. They're all about being present and authentic, and sometimes alcohol can get in the way of that.
True. Plus, you want to be liked for who you actually are, not for the slightly tipsy version of yourself.
Exactly. And instead of pre-gaming with drinks, they suggest a hype-up call with your best friend.
Ah, I love that. It's like building your confidence from a place of genuine support, not from the bottom of a cocktail glass.
It's so much healthier, right?
Yeah, it's like saying, hey, you got this. You're awesome, just as you are. It's so empowering.
It is. And you know what else is empowering?
What's that?
Gen Z Heartstrings advice on texting before a date.
Oh, yeah. What was their take?
They're not about texting all day, every day before a date.
Right. Save something for the in-person conversation.
Totally. It's like they're saying, hold back a little, you know? Keep some of the mystery alive.
It's true. And I think in today's world where everyone's constantly connected, that sense of anticipation can be kind of exciting.
Exactly. And I think it speaks to Gen Z's awareness of like digital overload. They're looking for those more present, more meaningful interactions.
Yeah, and that starts with setting boundaries around communication, even before the first date.
Absolutely. It's about letting the conversation unfold organically when you're actually together. So another thing has caught my attention.
Okay, tell me.
They talk about embracing those awkward moments that happen on first dates.
Oh my gosh, yes. Those can be the worst, but they're also kind of inevitable, right?
Totally. But Gen Z Heartstrings is all about just laughing it off, you know, going with the flow.
Which I think is such a healthy approach.
It really is. It's like they're acknowledging that nobody's perfect, and trying to pretend you are is just, well, exhausting.
And probably pretty inauthentic, too.
Exactly. It's about being comfortable with imperfection, both in yourself and in the other person.
Yeah. Makes you wonder if this comfort with imperfection actually makes Gen Z better at handling relationships in general.
Ooh, that's an interesting thought. It's like maybe because they're starting from a place of acceptance, they're less likely to get hung up on unrealistic expectations.
And you know what? This whole idea of embracing imperfection, I think it goes way beyond just dating, honestly.
You're so right. Friendships, family relationships, even work relationships, being able to laugh at those awkward moments can make any interaction so much better.
It's like they're giving us permission to be human, you know?
Yeah.
To mess up, to be a little goofy, to let our guard down.
I love that.
Okay, so just to recap, we've talked about ditching the job interview vibes, embracing real conversations, getting active, skipping the pre-date drinks, being a little mysterious with texting, and laughing off the awkward moments.
It's like a whole new set of rules for navigating first dates.
It is, and the best part is it's not just about getting to that second date, It's about shifting your entire mindset.
For sure. Being authentic, having fun, making a real connection, That's what matters.
I feel like Gen Z is totally changing the dating game, and honestly, I'm here for it.
Me too. It's not always about finding the one right away, is it?
No, definitely not.
It's more about, the whole experience.
Right. Each date, even if it doesn't work out romantically, can still teach you something, right?
Exactly. You learn about yourself, about what you're looking for in a partner,
Yeah, yeah. And maybe more importantly, what you don't want.
for sure. I think it's just about, like, enjoying the journey.
Absolutely. The ups, the downs, the awkward moments. Who knows? Maybe you make a great friend instead.
Exactly. You never know what's going to happen. Just be open to it all.
So, Gen Z listeners, what are your thoughts? What resonated with you from our deep dive into the Gen Z Heartstrings podcast? Anything you're going to try on your next first date?
I think what's really fascinating is how these, like, seemingly simple dating tips actually point to a much bigger shift in values for Gen Z. They're really redefining what it means to date.
Totally agree. And I think there's a lot we can all learn from their approach, no matter our generation. So, to all our listeners out there, go out there and have fun dating.
Be yourselves. Make genuine connections.
And remember, we'll be back next time with another deep dive into the world of relationships.